Hi, my name is Kendall Smith, and I'm the court coordinator for our virtual court. Today, we'll be demonstrating the Thomson Reuters evidence sharing platform. It's a tool used by courts and case parties to securely submit and present evidence for hearings. The demonstration has 4 scenes. The first scene shows some of the pre-hearing tasks that court personnel perform to prepare for hearings. The second scene will show how parties to cases, such as the attorneys or any other parties, can upload evidence into their cases. The third scene will show how the judge prepares and then conducts a live hearing with the case parties wherein evidence is admitted. And the final scene will show how court staff manage the admitted evidence and schedule new hearings. So let's get started. As the court coordinator, I'll be demonstrating how our court users use the Thomson Reuters evidence sharing platform to give case parties a secure, web-based way to submit and share evidence that will be presented during hearings. There are 2 tasks that I'll be showing today. The first is how to set up a case and sections in those cases where evidence will be uploaded. And the second will be inviting parties to upload their evidence. To get started, I go to the Thomson Reuters evidence sharing platform powered by CaseLines, and I log into the system. I click to view the case list, and the first thing that I want to do is create a brand new case and set up the sections in that case where evidence will be uploaded. To create a new case, I click the Create a Case button. I fill out some information about the case as I set it up. For example, the case name, and a reference number, also known as a case number. The front page allows me to customize a cover page for all of the evidence that will be admitted into the system. For my cover page, I'm going to copy and paste the case name and number. And then I'll scroll down to create this case shell. We now see that I have the Smith v. Jones Brother construction case created and some high-level information about that case. The next step that I want to complete is to create sections, also known as file folders, where the parties will start to upload their evidence. I'll click on Sections, and in my court, we set up sections for court files, plaintiff files, and defendant files. Court files might be a place where we place e-filings or copies of the pleadings that are part of the daily hearings. I've now created the court files section, and I want to create another one. The second section will be where I direct the plaintiffs to upload their evidence. And the last section will be this folder where I direct the defendants to upload their evidence or files. I've now created some case information and built out a list of the sections where evidence can be loaded by the parties. The next task that I want to show is how I can add a party to a case so that they can start uploading the evidence. I'm going to do that for a hearing we'll have later today in our virtual court. That hearing is in the Gypsy Rose case. So I'll find that case in the system and I'll click to update it. Now, the counsel that we're adding is a newly appointed counsel on the case, and he's just let me know that he needs access to the case so that he can upload the evidence that he'll be submitting in today's hearing. To add a new person into a case, I'll click the People tab. I can quickly see all of the current parties that have the ability to upload documents into the various sections within the Adoption of Gypsy Rose case. I want to invite a new participant. And in the email box, I'll find the person that I want to admit into this case so that they can upload their evidence. In this instance, I'm loading a new counsel by the name of Dave Johnson. I'll give him access to upload evidence into the master bundle and also set other security settings for this attorney. The last thing that I want to do is give Mr. Johnson an email notice that he's been added to the evidence sharing platform and a URL that will give him quick access to the specific section within this case that I want him to upload the evidence into. So you'll see in the invitation message, I can enter in the text that provides the proper instructions to each party. And I'll click Invite. I've now completed the 2 tasks as part of the pre-hearing tasks that I wanted to show as part of the demonstration. Again, those included setting up a new case and the subsequent sections within that case where the evidence will be uploaded, whether it's court files, plaintiff files, or defendant files. And I've also shown how you can add people to an individual case so that that party or that person gets a personal email invite and is directed specifically to the file section where they should be submitting the evidence for any upcoming hearings. That concludes scene 1. We'll now transition to scene 2, where you'll watch Mr. Johnson, the newly appointed counsel in the case, review the email that he's received from me, and easily upload his evidence for presentation in today's hearing.
Hello, I'm Dave Johnson, attorney. I have just received an email from the court letting me know that I've been given access to a case that I was recently appointed on, and the hearing is later today. I know that I need to upload a file to that case prior to the hearing, and with the email that I've just received, I have the option to do so via the link that you see listed down below here on my screen. I'm simply going to click on that link, which will direct me straight to CaseLines and directly to the window where I need to upload that information. From here, I'm simply going to open up my Explorer window, locate the file that I need to upload, and simply drag and drop that file into the Select Files window. Once that's done, all I have to do is simply click on the Start Upload button, and when I do so, you'll notice that it runs a quick virus scan on that file. I'm going to go ahead and click Start Upload. There's our virus scan. And with that done, I have now just uploaded my file for the hearing today, and I'm prepared for that particular session.
Good morning. I'm the judge of this virtual court, and I need to prepare for today's hearing by reviewing the case notes that I took last time when I met with the parties. In order to do this, I'm going to first start with sharing my screen and logging into the evidence sharing platform. To do that, I press on the log on button and I enter my username and password as such. And that brings me to the search screen where I can easily locate the case that I'm looking for. Today, I'm interested in looking at a very specific case with respect to the adoption of Gypsy Rose that I'm going to be hearing. And I would like to take a look at the notes that I prepared. In order to do that, I'm going to click on Update Case to look at the case details and look at the notes that I took during my previous sessions with respect to this particular case. Now that I've had an opportunity to take a look at the notes on this case, I believe I'm ready to go into the hearing. In order to go into the hearing, I can click on Case Home, and I notice that there is a hearing conference link that I can access launching the Zoom hearing. That is typically how I access my virtual hearings.
Now that the judge has prepared for the upcoming hearing, we'll now see what happens during an actual virtual hearing.
Good morning. We are here to review the case of Gypsy Rose. The case has been brought by the state. Can I check to make sure that all are present and see the screen that I am sharing? Who is here for the state?
Joe Pelton for the state, Your Honor. And yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you,
Dave
Mr. Pelton. Who is here for the parents?
Dave Johnson, representing the parents, Your Honor.
Okay. I note that you have just filed your appearance in this case. Did you have time to submit the required evidence today, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay, my court coordinator, Ms. Smith, is going to be recording all the proceedings and managing the admitted evidence. Now let's go ahead and get started. Mr. Pelton, as I recall from my notes from our last hearing, you were collecting evidence to present to argue against the adoption. I can see you have done a lot of work, but now that you have uploaded so many documents, it is not very clear where you would like me to look. So I would like to first go look at the evidence that you have submitted, and if you could guide me, please.
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize. If I may, I'll take you to the important documents. I'd like to start by referring to the leading case on B2 in the matter of parental rights, and I'll direct you there to the citation on B3, page 2. I can page direct you there if you'll allow.
Yes, Mr. Pelton, thank you. I see that you're also logged into the evidence sharing platform and you're able to direct me. Thank you. I'm going to now go to the matter that you're looking to discuss here. Yes, I see. Is there anything else you'd like to add here, Mr. Pelton?
Your Honor, if you'd like, you can click on the hyperlink to go through to Westlaw.
Thank you, Mr. Pelton. I will make a note at this point of time because I don't want to take the court's time to do this. I will add a note here to I will make this a private note and I will review it at a later point in time.
Thank you, Your Honor. I also have a photo of the living conditions in the parents' house yesterday, which you can see under the state's evidence.
Thank you, Mr. Pelton. I see that there's several files here and there's a photo of the living conditions that has been included within here. And yes, I do see the photo here.
Objection, Your Honor. If you look at the metadata on that file, you'll see that that photo was taken, I believe, in 2012.
Let me take a look at the metadata for this file, Mr. Johnson. I can click on view and go to display metadata. I see that there is metadata with respect to this photograph. And I feel that this is indeed a correct photograph. Any other questions, Mr. Johnson?
No, sir.
Okay, with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to admit this photograph as an exhibit and admit it into the court file. Thank you. Counsel, Mr. Pelton, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I'd now like to submit into evidence a video recording of the child's interview, which has also been uploaded under the state's evidence. And to assist the court, I've placed a note within the video directing you to the moment where custody is discussed. You can view that note in the annotations window on your right.
I see that. I see that you have added a note which directs me to go to media on the 22nd mark. So let me take a look at that. And yes, there is this note. I was able to take a look at this video in my chambers prior to this hearing in preparation for it. I do not want to waste the court's time doing that at this point in time. If the counsel for the parents has no issues, I would like to admit this into evidence as well.
We have no objections, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I will admit this into evidence now at this point of time. All right, now I'd like to switch over to the counsel for the parents. Is there anything you would like to add, Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor, as you know, I was just added to the case today, but as I mentioned earlier, I was able to upload a witness statement to the record. I would now like to call the witness to the stand, if that's okay, Your Honor. And if you'd like, I can direct you to that statement as well.
Very well. Court coordinator, please admit the witness. Witness, Mr. Brian Burke, I believe is your name?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is true and correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Burke, you should be able to see the witness statement that you submitted to the court earlier. I just want you to attest that that is, in fact, your statement and your signature at the bottom of the page.
It is, Mr. Johnson.
Good. Your Honor, we'd like to submit this as evidence to the record.
If there are no objections from the state, I will go ahead and do that.
No objections.
Thank you. The evidence has been admitted. Anything further, Mr. Johnson?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, then with this newly added evidence, I will now recess the hearing and return to my chambers to conduct my final reviews and render a decision. I will set this case for a final decision on the adoption in the next available court date that my court coordinator will take care of. Ms. Smith, please download the evidence bundle and follow due process to submit into the case record. Thank you very much. All adjourned.
Now that the hearing's concluded, I need to close out 2 remaining tasks before my day is done. The first is to download the admitted evidence bundle, process that, and send it over to our docketing group so they can put it into our case management system. The second task is to schedule the next hearing in this case so that the judge can render his decision. To download the bundle, I'll find the case that we just had the hearing in, and I'll click to update the case. I'll click on bundles, and I can see that there's a master bundle of evidence that's now been admitted, and I'll click to download. The evidence is placed into a PDF packet. I'll open the PDF, and I can see the index page that's been applied to the bundle of evidence, an index that contains a categorized listing of every section and the subsequent evidence that was uploaded from that section, and then the corresponding sets of evidence that have been admitted. And again, I can download or print and email this information over to our docketing department so that it can be uploaded into our case management system. Now that I've downloaded the bundle of evidence, I'll move on to the last task, which is to set the next hearing date. I'll click on Case Home, scroll down to view the hearings information, and I'll add the next hearing. I simply select the next date, the time, and if this next hearing will be conducted via video conferencing, I can add the URL for whatever video conferencing tool we use within our court. That way, all of the parties can click the video conference link and quickly access the session. We walked through the 4 scenarios today as part of our demonstration. Again, you saw how a court coordinator or a court clerk could set up new cases and designate different sections within those cases that the parties would upload evidence. You saw how counsel or any litigant can follow an email URL to securely upload evidence to the designated sections. You saw how the judge can review case notes to refresh or remind themselves on information that's relevant before starting the hearing. And you saw a live hearing in action where parties presented and directed all parties to the evidence folders that was being presented to the judge. And lastly, you saw how that evidence was file stamped and admitted into the record. When closing out the hearing, you saw how the court coordinator can download the admitted evidence from the hearings and send it off to case processing, and lastly, how to set up a subsequent hearing. We hope you've enjoyed our demonstration of the evidence sharing platform today and how you can use this platform to securely submit and present evidence in virtual and physical hearings. Thank you for your time.